Welcome back to SAT Math Practice, one page at a time with hints and tricks. This is practice test 7, section 4, which you are allowed to use a calculator for. Before you get started, the chart or the information that you need for question 26 is actually on the previous page. So if you do not have a printout of this test, I'm going to switch back to that slide to show you. The information is presented here for protein, fat, and carbohydrates, the energy per gram. I'm going to go ahead and summarize that for us so I can keep it all on the same slide. So what you will need for number 26 before you get started is that the food calories for protein per gram are 4. For fat, it is 9, and for carbohydrates, it was also 4. So again, that's in the table of information on the previous page. Okay, so if you would like to try these without any hints, please pause now. I'll go through and provide some hints for each of these and then go over them in more detail with the answers. So for 26, again, we have that information from the chart, and we're trying to solve for F. As you can see, all the answer choices. We are told that we have 180 calories in a granola bar. So we need to start with an equation that connects all three variables, the protein, the fat, and the carbohydrates, to get this 180 food calories in a granola bar. So if we know that these are the food calories for each of those three variables and it's 180 total, you can write your equation and then solve it for F. For number 27, this is exponential growth. So the formula for exponential growth that you might recall is A parentheses 1 plus R to the power of X, or we're going to put T for time. So A is your initial amount. In this case, that initial amount is going to be the population in 1975 because we are asked for years since 1975. So we need the population in 1975 for our A value. And for 28, this one might seem a little confusing, but the big giveaway is that the y-intercept is 0. And when the y-intercept is 0, you have a direct variation. So you might recall hearing that in your algebra days. Okay, so go ahead and pause now if you have not already worked through these, and we will go back through to work them out. All right, so your equation for 26 to connect the three variables would be 4p plus 9f plus 4c. So the food calories per gram for each of those variables. And we have a total of 180 food calories in our granola bar. So that allows us to create an equation, and then we just need to solve for F. So I'm going to subtract 4p and 4c from both sides. So that gives me 9f equals 180 minus 4p minus 4c. And then I'm going to divide by 9. And I will have F by itself. So we have 180 divided by 9 is going to give me 20 minus 4/9 P minus 4/9 C, which is not an answer choice. You can see they factored out the 4/9. So be careful in choosing your answer here. If we go ahead and take out that 4/9, so if I'm writing it as minus 4/9, it would be times P, but then it would be times a positive C. So then when I work backwards, it would still be minus 4/9 C, which is actually choice B. But be very, very careful. You can see how similar choice C is if you forget about that sign. All right, so the exponential growth for population for 27, we have our population in 1975 was 4 billion, 4 billion plus, or 1 plus rather, the rate is 1.9%. Be very careful here. 1.9% as a decimal would be 0.019, right? Move the decimal 2 places to the left. And then we have the T representing years since 1975, but we don't actually have to solve this. We're just choosing the equation. So the equation that matches this would be option A, where we just go ahead and take the 1 plus 0.019. And last one on this page, 28. Again, direct variation means the y-intercept is 0. So when you think slope-intercept form, if your y-intercept is 0, then the equation could be modeled y equals mx, or you might recall seeing it as y equals kx for direct variation. Regardless, the important part here is the relationship between x and y will be proportional for the entire line because you have that b value of 0. So what we can conclude here is if we have that 0.36 provided, and we know that that's x and y, but they are telling us that there's another point, which is st on the line, it's going to have the same ratio, again, because it's this direct variation. So they want to know the ratio of t to s. So if I switch this around, it would be 6 to 3. So what's the ratio of 6 to 3? That would reduce or simplify to 2 to 1, which is answer choice C. So not so bad if you understand or make that connection that it is a direct variation, that the y-intercept is 0. Might be really confusing without that. Okay, so please comment below if you have any suggestions on what would make this more helpful, or if you have any additional questions, and look for the link for the next page. Thank you.